What the heck?
I just hit it now. So we got our own countdown, and then now we're live. So welcome to Game Day 716. We are live and in person here to talk about the NFL draft. We're very excited. It's an exciting weekend starting tomorrow, Thursday, April 28th. At I don't know what time, 8 p.m. on ESPN, ABC, and everywhere else. So, um, oh, that's really weird. Sorry, guys. I'm sitting here hearing ads, and it's really annoying. Um, so we're live. We're live, just like normal, and everything's going swimmingly. So, yeah, we're here to talk about the draft, the NFL draft. It's going to be a great time. We have a lot of special guests on, and that kind of thing. So hopefully you'll stick around and watch us pretend we know stuff about football. So, CJ, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Been a good week. 2 weeks actually.
Yeah. Busy, but everything's
Yeah.
been good.
Yep. Noah, how are you?
Doing okay. Yep.
Good.
Doing good.
Glad to hear it. How's your car?
It's good.
Glad. Really happy about that. Your window, it's all set.
Yeah.
Are you gonna talk with like a weird accent, Swedish?
Yeah.
accent
I'm gonna do it all night.
The whole time. Yeah, sure. Okay. So here we go. So the draft is coming. It's, as I said, it's coming tomorrow. Starting at 8:00 on ABC. And we're very excited about it. We are all Buffalo Bills fans, so we will be taking this from a Buffalo Bills perspective. We will be talking about this, like I said, from a Bills perspective and hoping to keep you entertained. So as the draft comes around every year, we always have the show and have a good time. So enjoy and
let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Thank you, Noah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Top prospects.
Top prospects. So our top prospects. There's a lot of top prospects, mostly on the defensive side of the ball. Would you say, Noah?
Yeah. Offensive lineman too. That's another big one again this year.
Yeah.
We're again super deep at wide receiver. But yeah, it's mostly defense with, Georgia being the top with 7. Could have had 13 in total if they kept the guys from the 2020 defense, but some of them left, so now they only have 7.
Only 7. So
which is the most they've had since 2016, I think, which was 5. So
some of the top prospects are Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. He is a defensive end and edge rusher. They don't call them defensive ends anymore. I don't know why. Another edge rusher is Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon. Another edge rusher is George Karlaftis, and the other big edge rusher is Trayvon Walker out of Georgia. There's been a lot of rumors about who's going number 1. Most people think it's going to be Hutchinson. The team with the first overall pick is Detroit, and they have been floating that they may not be taking Hutchinson, that they're liking Trayvon Walker. Not Trayvon. Yeah, Trayvon Walker out of
Georgia.
1 of 7. And so if they like Walker, it would be a very big surprise if they took him number 1. Hutchinson has basically been number 1 on this list since the middle of the college football season, probably.
Jags hold the number 1 pick again.
That's what I said.
Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what everyone heard. So, as I was saying, Hutchinson has probably been the number 1 top of the board prospect since the middle of the college football season, and the Jaguars have needs at basically every position. So it kind of makes sense for Hutchinson to be taken there. But as I said, if the Jaguars are doing a smoke screen and really want Walker, or they're smoke screening with Walker, then we'll start the draft with a very big surprise. Noah, you want to talk about some other high prospects? You could talk about the tackles or the cornerbacks, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, there's obviously, like we were saying, a bunch of defensive guys and that kind of stuff. I guess I'll talk about. Let me get to them. Yeah, cornerbacks. There's a bunch. Derek Stingley out of LSU. He's 6 foot, weighs 190. Has a 66.6, which is good on PFF. There's Ahmad Gardner, who, in my opinion, is probably the top-rated CB. Super athletic, 6'3", never allowed a touchdown in his entire career, despite starting as a true freshman out of Cincinnati,
including high school, though.
Huh?
Including high school as well.
Okay, I didn't say that. It just
Ahmad Gardner. He goes by Sauce, so he would be called Sauce Gardner. A good fit in Buffalo. Using Sauce and all.
Yeah, he's probably gonna go too early though.
So I was gonna say the only way we get him is trading up, but I don't.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as an option in a little bit. Yeah, we're just hitting on top prospects for now. So, some of the other ones probably Noah. Who else?
Trent McDuffie out of Washington. He might be there around our pick. He has some injury issues that's kind of hampering him. Andrew Booth might be there as well. He's one of those guys I think is just too good and is going down. Kaiir Elam as well, and that's kind of the end of your top guys for cornerback. Kaiir Elam is out of Florida. Another athletic freak. It's still those are your main cornerbacks to be on that out for.
Did you say Booth?
Yeah,
Okay.
Out of Clemson. Yep.
Okay.
He's probably the one I like the least.
Me too. Because he goes to Clemson, or he went to Clemson, and I have I don't like Clemson players.
I just think the other guys will fit better, and I like my height and that kind of stuff. And he has some problems in like his hips, I guess, and he's not. I mean, he was good at Clemson. He is, but he got exposed a little bit too often and that kind of stuff. He gave up 26 catches for 46 targets for 312 yards in his first full year as a starter. So,
yeah,
he lets them catch the ball. He just doesn't give up yards, really.
Right. So he's a good tackler, quick feet. And he'll probably be there, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the one difference between Booth and the other guys we mentioned. I'll be surprised if McDuffie gets there, but
it'll be close, I think.
I'll still be
I just
surprised.
think there's too much talent. I mean, there's so much talent in the draft that guys are going to have to fall. I mean, Kyle Hamilton was considered a top 5 pick, and now he's fallen as far as.
We'll get to Hamilton. Don't worry.
So, Kyle Hamilton is the safety. He's probably He's probably one top 3 prospect in the entire draft.
Yes, he's great. And when we talk about the Bills, he will be discussed by me very much. CJ, are there players you want to highlight and talk about? Offensive line, wide receivers, anything like that. I know you love the tight ends, but there are now no top tight end prospects.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, going by what we need the most for the Bills, I'm still hoping for a cornerback in the first. If we can get one of those guys to drop, I'd be real happy. But that safety that you were just talking about is just he's huge. So like, I don't know. I was gonna look up Cam Chancellor's height and weight, and I have to say that he's got to be close to what he was.
Hamilton is 6'4", 220.
Yeah.
And he can play safety and linebacker.
Right.
So
yeah. So what's his name was Chancellor was 6'3", 232, and he was considered to be one of the biggest linebacker or safeties at the time. There wasn't many like him. Still isn't much like him that big.
Yeah, and Hamilton's an athletic freak too. So
yeah.
It's a fun time talking.
There's a couple guys I'm looking at. Like later in the draft, like underrated guys.
Oh, we'll get to them too. We're sticking on top
of the rounds. Yeah. I hear you. I guess if all those, I could see. Who was the last cornerback you named? He was on the board right after McDuffie. I'm trying to think. It's a 4-letter last name. I can't think of what his name is though.
Elam.
Yes. I would hope that if McDuffie's not around, we go for him. And if they're both gone, I'm gonna say, oh gosh,
I'll swear.
I'm gonna say offensive lineman. If there's a guy that we can get around that part.
I suppose a guard would be a place of emphasis for the Bills.
Zion Johnson out of Boston College is a big name around there for inside offensive line.
Yes. Johnson and Ray, what's his name? He's currently listed as a tackle, but I'm doing so well with this.
Zion, okay. Let's see where we're going. But he's
there's Cross, Okongwu, Neal.
Yeah, there's a lot of offense. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah. Ryman from Central Michigan.
2 years ago, he was playing tight end.
Yes.
He earned the second highest grade of any offensive lineman this past season and allowed only 10 pressures. He got out of Central Michigan.
Yeah, so he was playing in the MAC.
Austrian import.
Yep.
Interesting.
And Central Michigan, they have another sleeper, their other tackle. So when we talk about sleepers, we'll hit on him as well.
Kennard.
He lettered in wrestling in high school.
Oh, you know what that means.
Oh, snap.
You know what that means. Chris Collinsworth has something to talk about.
Was Kennard one of the guys that you're looking at for guard?
He's a wrestler.
Darian Kennard, Kentucky 6'5", 345.
Not off the top of my head, no. I think we kind of mentioned all the guys. One of the guys we missed when we were talking about there were two safeties we didn't really hit on, and that's Daxton Hill and who's out of Michigan, and Louis Cine or Cine, Cine is his last name.
Georgia guy, right?
Another Georgia guy, yes. A big tackler. He's a bigger guy, and Jackson Hill is a cornerback safety hybrid, where he can play cornerback or safety. And he would be able to sort of cover a couple of different areas that the Bills could really use. But let's before we go on and continue to talk about players, let's talk about Bills' strategy and what they've done in the past, and what their needs are, what our wants are, and what how it fits into this draft. So I think we can all agree that there are specific needs on this roster if the Bills are drafting for need. CJ, you hit on cornerback and offensive line. There are other folks out there who think wide receiver is a need.
I don't think so.
It's not a need, but it's a if you can get another top tier wide receiver, then it's kind of worth it. And we have to remember the draft is 7 rounds long too. So, there's not just the first round pick, but some other things that I see as needs are guys, and the Bills do this a lot, are guys who are who would fill in for the players who have 1 year left on their contracts. So that would be guys like Devin Singletary at running back, Jordan Poyer at safety. I was gonna say Kevin Knox.
Edmonds or no? What does he got?
Edmonds.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Bunch of guys on the line.
Yeah, the guards.
Sides.
Both of the guards.
Besides Morris.
Both of the guards.
Yeah.
No, Morris extended his deal.
No, I know. I was just saying everybody besides Morris, basically.
Yeah.
And the other guy we just.
And all 3 tight ends, actually. OJ Howard, Tommy Sweeney, and Knox. So so those are some places the Bills may look as places of need to draft. I think obviously they won't let all of those players go. But they like to keep their own. One of the things that Bean always talks about is draft and then keep your guys. So, I think one of the things that we can say, right, that we all agree on is that whatever happens is that we trust what Bean's going to do. And that they have some kind of plan. After seeing them draft Josh Allen and questioning it, Tremaine Edmonds and questioning it, and Ed Oliver questioning it, they have made a lot of good picks, and those guys have and Rousseau last year was questionable. So both Rousseau, Basham from last year as well, Oliver,
Brown, Spencer Brown.
Oh, Spencer Brown. Yeah. All those guys were drafted to fill the need of guys on 1 year contracts left. So that's where I was talking about that the Bills have the tendency to do that and have a tendency to fill those needs. So, Noah, what if you could have them take a player at 25, not counting a trade or not counting anything, but just a player at pick 25 that the Bills have, who would it be?
Do you mean like anybody?
Well, obviously anyone who we think will be there. I mean, we know Hutchinson won't be there, so I mean, someone within that range who
I mean, honestly, I'd like them to take one of the cornerbacks if they're there, like McDuffie or, Elam. I mean, maybe, you'll see, or you can take Hill. Maybe you can trade up. But I mean, to be there, I would really like them to go cornerback. I don't want them to take the running back out of Iowa State, Brees Hall. I feel like that's kind of a waste to have him that early. Regardless of the deal that Singletary's on. But I think cornerback would be my number one choice there.
I think if Green's there, you take Green at 25. And then if he's not there, you go McDuffie or Elam.
Yeah. I don't see. I mean, I don't see Stigney or Gardner making it out of the top 15. But I do see McDuffie falling because there's just so much talent in this draft, and not a lot of teams need a cornerback. And really, past Stingley and Gardner, in my opinion, those are your top two guys. And
okay, I would like to make a bet. I'll make a bet. I don't know what the bet is exactly, but that if McDuffie falls to the Bills, they'll take him. But if he gets, I don't think he'll get out of the top 12.
Okay, I'll take that bet.
What are we betting?
I don't know. Money.
That he gets out of the top 12?
Yeah, he's going to get out of the top 12. Grandma asked if it's just one round. Yes, it is. And the Bills probably won't be picking until like a quarter to 12. So
yes, so the last 3 years, the number 25 pick have picked around 1120 to 1140. Yeah. It was like 1120, 1130, and 1140, actually, if I remember looking at some of the info that people were giving. So it's going to be pretty late. It'll be a late night, and Friday night is just round one. Sorry, Thursday night is round 1. Friday night is round 2 and 3, and Saturday is 4 through 7. So that's how it works. And then Sunday is complain day. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. So Noah, give me 12 players who are going to be taken before McDuffie.
Hutchison, Walker, Gardner, Stingley, Cross, Neal, Hamilton.
Hamilton's a definite?
Yep. London.
Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau. What am I at? 9 or
London's
10?
A definite.
Yeah, there's somebody within like the top picks that really likes him a lot. Jordan Davis, I think, will get taken before him.
Stingley? Or no?
Too much. I said
you already
that.
mentioned Stingley.
Okay.
Yeah.
What am I at?
You're at 3.
Not at 3. What are you talking about?
You're at like 9.
Yeah.
I could see a Conwu getting taken before him.
I think a Conwu will go early. Yeah. I mean, I think it'll be close. There's a reason I said 12,
Yeah.
But I don't think that a cornerback that talented.
I mean, you're going to have somebody like Nakobe Dean get taken ridiculously high because that's what these teams do. You teams don't care about what about what other, they just care about their big board. If they like a guy, they're going to take him. If they're valuing him at a first round overall selection, they're going to take him. That's why I think McDuffie's going to fall. McDuffie is a great player, but
okay, I'm
is
saying
what
fall
he
till
is,
12. But you're saying you think he's going to fall to 25?
I think there's a possibility. I think there's talent And there are teams there aren't a lot of teams that need cornerback position. That's the problem.
Why? Let's go back because you're refuting exactly what you're saying. You're talking out of both sides because are teams drafting for need or are teams drafting based upon their board?
Teams are drafting based upon their board, but if they're drafting based upon their board and which is based upon their need, a lot of those teams' needs aren't cornerback. So it will cause guys who aren't as good compared to somebody like a Jordan Davis to fall because a team will go, well, maybe cornerback is my fourth or my third overall need, but I really need an lineman, so I'm gonna go up and snag Rain Man Rayman, whatever his name is, early, so I can get my lineman because I need a lineman.
Okay.
That's you've seen that trend in the draft now. I mean, that's what teams do. Teams will go and get their guy, which is why I think McDuffie will fall. I don't think McDuffie is he's a great prospect. He was fantastic at Washington, but I don't think he brings enough to the table for a team to say I value him more because he's best player available versus what I need as a team.
We'll see.
If he makes it past Minnesota, I think we got a shot.
Where does Minnesota pick?
Like 15?
12.
Okay.
I just think they have a huge need in Minnesota for a cornerback. So they'll either go Booth or they'll go him.
I think Booth and Elam will both be there.
I think Elam will definitely be there. I don't know about Booth, but I think Elam will definitely be there.
But I don't think McDuffie will be close. I really don't. I really don't. And I don't think teams draft for need as much as you're saying. I mean,
Philly
if the
needs
Jets,
a cornerback.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess, and I'll add on to that. I think they're going to in this draft because there is so much talent across the positions that teams are going to risk it.
Well, I mean, the Bills are one of the teams who risk it, but there are plenty of teams who don't. I mean, Dean always wants to make a splash with his pick.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't mean make a splash. I mean more like we have our guy and we're gonna go get him. And that's where Hamilton comes in for me. But we're talking about pick 25. And I don't think Hamilton's gonna slide to 25.
No.
But he could slide to 15.
Right. Yeah, when he was a top 5 draft pick 2 months ago.
Well, he was a top 5 prospect. And there's a difference, right? Because when you're looking at it months ago, you don't know the draft order yet.
Okay, but he's not falling because of the draft order.
So why is he falling?
He's falling because he's so good that there's nowhere to go but down. We've had this discussion numerous times.
We haven't had it on the air.
We haven't had it on the air, yes, but we've had this discussion off air numerous times. Hamilton is so good of a prospect, and he was considered to be that good of a prospect so early into the college football season, he had nowhere to go but down. That is the only reason why he's falling. He will not make it out of the top 10. There's no way. If the Bills want him, they need to get in the top 10. He's too good to be left there.
CJ, what are your thoughts on Hamilton?
Yeah, I mean,
so okay.
I'm thinking he doesn't go. I'm thinking he'll be right around 10, if not within, I think he'll be right around 10. There was another thing I was looking at was a guy I thought would go a little earlier than they're projecting is Olave. I just think that teams will want him just because his track record at Ohio State. And
yeah, I don't touch Ohio State receivers.
Well, you got 2 of them coming out, right? So you got Wilson and then you got
Olave.
Yeah.
And they'll probably both go before the Bills pick. Well, Olave may not, but
I think he'll go earlier than they're projecting.
Yeah.
Which is about 20 or so.
Yeah. A lot of top talent at receiver as well. Jameson Williams is out there, who we haven't touched on. He's a tall and fast receiver from Alabama. Other guys.
Yeah, there's Williamson, there's Olev, like CJ was saying, Drake London out of USC, Wilson, Sky Moore from Western Michigan, George Pickens from Georgia, who like doesn't ever drop the ball, Treylon Burks, Arkansas. I mean, geez, I could keep going. Dotson out of Penn State, Mechie out of Alabama, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State, Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati, Khalil Shakir out of Boise State, David Bell out of Purdue. Yeah, so there's
and you still could keep going. I mean, there's more. There's more beyond that.
Yeah.
So
Justin Ross is in this draft from Clemson.
Right. And he's far down, on the list.
Yeah, it's just because he was hurt all year.
Okay, but there's a kid from Nevada I really like who's down there. All those Nevada games I watch.
Doubs,
yes.
Doubs.
Yeah. And anyway, I want to get back to the Hamilton discussion because so you're basically saying that a player he's so good that he has nowhere to go but down. So why wouldn't Jacksonville take him?
Because he's not number one on their draft board. I mean, you can have multiple number one rated prospects. I think Hutchinson is equally as good as Hamilton. Hutchinson's going to be a freak in the NFL. I mean, he showed that in Michigan, the way he can get around the edge and beat the tackles, and his footwork and his hands and his strength and his speed. It's like you put all that together and then you put his versatility on top of that. It's like, you have JJ Watt and, somebody else sent defensive end who's as equally as good put together. I think Thibodeau is going to be better than people think. He has to work on. People don't think he puts in the amount of the same amount of effort all the time, but he's one of those guys where it's like, it was like when you would watch Eichel skate and you would be like, he's skating so slow, but it's just that he's taking such long strides that it looked like he was skating slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like he's one of those guys where it's like he is working. It's just it doesn't look like it.
Well, Thibodeau is like 6'7" or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
he also got double teamed basically his entire year at Oregon and was still able to be consistently good and put up the numbers he did and become a top draft prospect and just solidify that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where? Okay, so you think? Okay, I'll get past Hamilton. So, but you don't think he'll fall out of the top 10?
No.
It's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, and the rest is going to stay in my head. So, not really. That's interesting to me because I think he could fall to 15. But if the Bills want to get him, No, he should go in the top 3 probably.
Right, which is my point. Which is why I was saying that. He's so good that he has nowhere to go but down.
Okay.
He has nothing to improve on. His shuttle time is exactly the same. His this is exactly the same. So, if you're consistently being consistent, that's all you have to show. So if you have somebody like Trayvon Walker, who's all of a sudden the top rated prospect because he had a great, he finished out the regular season really well, but was amazing at the combine, had a great pro day. He's somebody who shot to this top because he was able to show he was improved. And teams stupidly value that more versus the tape that somebody put being like, look, I'm consistent. Teams believe the hype too.
So the Bills have thrown up a lot of names, and people have thrown up a lot of names for the Bills, right? CJ, did we get your pick about you were on a cornerback train, right?
Yeah. I'm either Booth, McDuffie, Elam, or lineman at that point.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the idea of drafting a cornerback doesn't appeal to me. I mean, it does to a point, but the Bills are okay. And I mean, even with Trey White out for the first 4 to 6 weeks, I still think the Bills are okay. Based upon how they value cornerbacks. And I think that them taking a cornerback just because they lost Levi Wallace, which is really what this decision would come down to, because they're not asking this cornerback to be a CB1 because they have Trey White there. So they're taking a first round pick and using it on a cornerback when they don't value cornerbacks the same way that they value other positions. So I guess I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be very surprised if the Bills took a cornerback. Again, based upon how we've seen them draft in the first round. I would be less shocked to see them take Hall than to see them take a cornerback.
I'd be super shocked to see him take a running back in the first round.
I think I wouldn't be shocked to see them take a lineman.
Yeah.
Or if Noah talked about Jordan Davis possibly falling. I think if Jordan Davis is kind of my pick to fall out of, like, when you look at the whole group of players, Davis is one of those who I think could fall. For people who don't know, he's 6'6", 360 pounds, a defensive tackle. He's basically a run stopper, and the Bills could, even though they've signed all these guys, you don't find 6'6", 360-pound guys who you can't move very often.
And who also had the speed that Jordan Davis does. I mean, his initial burst,
yeah.
You see some of those clips of him rushing the quarterback, and it's like he just beat the guy with speed.
Right.
And to be that fast and that big is it's not teachable. I know he said that about Josh, but that's actually not teachable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. So Davis is my pick to fall, and if he's there, the Bills should grab him. Unless more players fall, but that's my thought.
Well, the other part we haven't talked about this is that there's a chance that there could be 3 quarterbacks taken, or in the first, there could be 3 to 4 to 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round, or 1, or none.
Right. I think it'll be
that
1.
Could throw everything off.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge contingent on every. I mean, that's that's the unknown of this draft, right? Because there's no established quarterbacks like there always are who just go 1-2, or 1-2-4-5-7,
Right.
like that kind of thing. And so the only one we almost know for sure will go in the first round is Willis, is probably who you're talking about, I assume, right?
It's Willis or Pickett. Those are the two consistent names I've heard. Because Pittsburgh likes Pickett, and I think New Orleans likes Willis. So
See, I read Pittsburgh likes Willis too. And that they like Howell. So, I mean, again, you don't know who's smoke screening, who's doing whatever, but and one of the things I read was that Pittsburgh doesn't like Pickett. So it's all very
that's
strange.
the other
right?
thing too, is everybody has different information.
Right.
I mean, I know everybody's big board is different, but it's not always dramatically different. But if you look across some of these big boards, I mean, some guys are in the 50s when others are in the 20s. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the draft networks and PFFs, and Draft Network has a guy that has a couple guys they like in the top 20, and those guys are ranked lower for PFF. So it's like, I mean, I know that's scouting and all that stuff, but to be that different, I don't remember there being a draft like this where it's like there's
No.
so
No, I
much.
agree. I think it'll even out, and Bean has said this too, that rounds 2 through 4 are almost interchangeable, the amount of talent that's in there. And he was saying that that's where the biggest differences are going to be. Some people have guys as a second rounder, while other teams have guys as like a fourth rounder, and it's the same. I'm talking about the same player, somebody like Roger McCreary, right? He could fall to the fourth round, or he could be taken at 28. And McCreary is another cornerback out of Auburn who eats 6 cans of beans before every game. So I want the Bills to take him and sauce and Hamilton.
Beans and sauce and Hamilton.
Yep. That'll be the new signs all around. But I don't know. So what's next on our talking thing? We talked about our wants. So do we just want to go through the positions real quick and just talk about them?
Sure. Yeah, we can end running through the positions. Quarterbacks, I mean, we kind of talked about those already a little.
Yeah. Yeah. So at quarterback, Malik Willis is, at least in my opinion, is the consensus number 1. But that doesn't seem to be what you're saying.
No, I meant when I was saying like the stuff about the disparity. I mean, it was mock drafts too.
Yeah.
Obviously, more mock drafts than it was big boards. But yeah.
Okay.
I think Malik is the top guy.
So at quarterback, you have Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett. The thing about Willis that's very interesting is he could be the first HBCU player to be taken in like 2 decades. Willis is out of Liberty, though he's kind of out of Auburn, but he's out of Liberty now, and he was a junior. He's another running quarterback with a huge arm. He could chuck it 70 yards like Allen and Mahomes and Herbert and those kind of guys. He's not known for his accuracy, and playing at Liberty, he hasn't played in some huge games. Also, he left Auburn go play at Liberty under some sketchy circumstances, in the sense of he kind of left with in a bad mood because he couldn't beat out other guys. So that's how he ended up at Liberty. But teams apparently don't seem to think that that's a problem. After Willis is a group of probably 4 players. I would say, unless you think there's any specific order of these guys, but I think it's Pickett, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, and Desmond Ritter. I don't know if you think there's guys who belong in there or don't, but I think they're all at the same level, kind of thought of, that kind of thing. I don't know if either of you have a favorite out of those 4.
Do you, CJ?
You want to give me those 4?
Yeah, Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh, Matt Corral out of Ole Miss,
Okay.
Sam Howell out of North Carolina, and Desmond Ritter out of Cincinnati.
Out of those 4, do I have a preference? Give me 1 second. Let me just think about that a little bit more. I mean, obviously Pickett's your top guy, right? Most consensus would say that he is going to go above most of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people are thinking it'll be Willis and then Pickett.
Well, Willis wasn't one of the 4 that you mentioned, right?
Yeah. Because we just hit on Willis being the top guy.
Right. So, I like Willis the best, also.
Yeah. So we're saying the next, at least in my opinion, the next level is these 4 guys, and they're kind of interchangeable. Like, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
I kind of like Ritter.
You don't know which one will go where.
Yeah.
And it goes back to Noah's point about this draft being somewhat unpredictable. But that these 4, and then it kind of drops off after these 4, in my opinion.
Oh, that's tough, because I watched Corral play a few times. I can't remember what games, and I thought he played fairly well.
Well, he was a Heisman candidate at one point, and obviously at Ole Miss, he was playing for a former NFL coach.
Right. And he lost most of his guys. I want to say that last year he played, if I'm not mistaken. So that's
and
tough.
he was still able to put up the same numbers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just threw picks at inconvenient times.
Yeah.
But he only had 10.
Really
right. Funny. They were just very unfortunate times.
Yeah.
Auburn
but
game,
but playing for Lane Kiffin obviously helps. In my opinion,
be ready. Yeah.
So I mean, I like Corral.
I think, I don't know, I'll put it like this. I think who was the other guy? Was it begins with a R?
Ritter.
Yes. I think Ritter is probably closest to being NFL ready at this point.
I was just about to make my case for Ritter. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just from obviously playing 4 years, yeah. And so I think he's got the most experience and would be most ready to join a team and contribute soonest. But then you got the other guys. I think Corral will honestly have the better career than Ritter. So it's, that's just my thoughts.
I think that's fair. When you talk about Pickett, you talk about his ability to pass and run. Pickett he's kind of like a shorter Josh Allen with a weaker arm. He's a poor man's Josh Allen to me. Weaker arm, not as good of a runner, but he runs, or not as powerful of a runner as Allen. Been having these Twitter arguments about whether Allen's a good running quarterback or not. And then Howell.
You're on the yes side, right?
I just think that's a foolish question.
I'm
to
on
even
the yes
ask.
side. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure this is one of your things.
Oh no! It's not one of my things.
We might not want him to run as much, but I don't see how you couldn't consider him one of the best running quarterbacks based off statistics, based off
right
yards per clip, based off
Oh, I completely
I
agree.
mean, if he's
Film,
hanging around there with Lamar
watching.
Jackson and Russell
my God.
Wilson, like,
Yeah.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, and scoring touchdowns and doing everything he needs to do. And
Mhm.
you know, it was just the conversation was he always gets hit, so and he's bigger, and you
Yeah.
know it. And I'm like, well, that just means he won't get injured. You know, that's
Yeah.
or we'll have him for 10 years. Just win a
Well,
Super Bowl in that time.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with body type. The guys that are slimmer know how
Right.
to adjust to hits better, I'd say, because watching Lamar, I think we've gone over this before, but you can see when
Yeah.
he makes a cut where he'll kind of just, instead of taking the brunt of the hit, he'll turn his body so that he is
Right.
taking a little bit of it, but it's not a full on. Whereas Josh, I feel like sometimes looks for that full on.
He does. He wants to put the hit on the guy.
Right.
Right.
But
Or
with the
jump
body
over them.
frame, it's
Yeah.
right. With the body frame, I think it fits him better. So I think they're both learning what suits them, and that's fine. If Josh is that guy and Lamar isn't, they're two different types of they have two different body types. So it's what one can handle versus what the other one can handle, or how long either one will last is really up in the air.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to running backs. I think there's really two, and then a group after that, and then a group after that. But the top two are Brees Hall and Kenneth Walker the third. Hall is out of Iowa State. Kenneth Walker the third's out of Michigan State.
Yep.
Most people have pretty much decided Hall is the better player, or that Hall is the number one prospect, at least, I think. But Walker is right there with him. Hall is more of a complete player. He scored a gazillion touchdowns in college. He was a 4-year starter, I think, and put up a billion yards as well. He finds holes really well. He will hit back. He's a good receiver, which is a knock on Walker, who people don't know whether he's a good receiver or not. More people are arguing that he isn't a good receiver, but really in the Michigan State offense, they really don't ask running backs to receive the ball very often. So,
Right.
So I don't know if you guys have a preference between the two, Walker or Hall.
Yeah, I mean, I want to support my guy, but I mean, the knock on him obviously is he came from Wake Forest. No one knew who this kid was, and then he goes to Michigan State and becomes a dark horse for the Heisman. He was talked about there, has 20 broken tackles against Miami.
Right.
Basically just pops off and goes crazy. So I mean, the knock on him is that him being in Michigan State, being behind, for a full offensive line that I think had one junior on it, and the rest were all redshirt seniors, or it had 2 and 3, but none of them were lower than junior. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So that offensive line was fantastic. I mean, they barely let up any sacks. They let Walker go crazy. The Michigan State offense came alive and got to a bowl game and was ranked after they won 2 games last year. So, we don't know. We're basing this off of 1 year. That 1 year was fantastic. Hall has 4 full years to be like, this is what I can do. And yeah, we don't know if Walker can catch really, but I don't remember him ever having a big drop or ever having.
What did he have though? 9 receptions or something? I mean, it was
Yeah, I
something
mean, he
like
only had
that.
a few, but I don't remember him dropping them at least.
Right.
So
no, I don't think he had dropped. I think it was
but I mean, he's a bruiser. That's
Walker?
kind of the way I view
Well,
it.
he's 4.3940, right? So that's fast. But in my opinion, that never showed up on tape in Michigan.
No.
Like that speed wasn't there when he was playing games, which is weird to me that he ran that fast to 40 because you just didn't see that in a game. Now, if he can figure out how to translate that speed into a game, mix, he is. To me, there's drawbacks and positives for both guys, right? So, like the big thing about Walker there, that the speed, but at the same time, you didn't see that in the game or in games. And then you got Hall, who I don't know, to me climbed a lot in as a result of the combine. So he had a fairly good combine and then kind of jumped up. So it's like both those guys have question marks, and then you can go down to the third and fourth guys, which in my opinion, the third guy is going to be it's either going to be White or Cook would be the third, and you can interchange them.
Which
whereas
White?
Zamir.
Both Georgia guys. You're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yep. I think both those will be. Whereas one does one thing better, the other does. I think your Zamir is
That's
more of
interesting.
your.
Okay.
I think your Zamir is going to be more of your Green Bay back, Dylan type, big guy,
He's
first, second down, and end of games will win games for you. You know what I mean? Whereas Cook, I think, is a lot more versatile but he's not a big guy, right? So, that's how I look at the top four. And to me, even though Hall is the consensus top guy, I don't think he separated himself enough between him and Walker to really say that I would grab one over the other 10 picks higher. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I would take the risk on either one of those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a consensus number one at running back. Honestly,
right?
I mean, I don't think you could go.
I don't think. See, and I don't have like in quote unquote my rankings. I don't think either of the Georgia guys would be 3 and 4. Like,
really?
Yeah. I mean, I like Kyron Williams out of Notre Dame. I like Isaiah Spiller a lot.
I don't know. I think you're looking more.
Bringing up the other White out of Arizona State.
I think you're.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The Bills really like Rashad White. So
yeah,
and he's like a fourth.
Well, yeah, those guys are, I would say, later. But I think what you're getting at with Spiller and that, I think those are more systems guys, though. Like they're not necessarily guys you can take in any team. Whereas I think
Spiller's a really good receiver. I mean,
right. No,
he's probably the second best receiver in the draft.
Right, put him in a Shanahan offense, okay, you know what I'm saying. But you put him in a not as prolific of a passing running back offense, I think that he wouldn't obviously be as needed, or they wouldn't even want him at all. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. There's a lot of teams that already have passing backs too. That's a big thing. So if you're just primarily a passing back, the only reason I thought those other two guys were a little bit ahead was just because of what we see happening where they're mixing two backs, where they're putting two backs on a team usually. And for a team that doesn't have a receiving back, I think Cook is probably your best receiving back of those bottom guys, of the guys past Walker and Hall. So I mean, and then the White, I just think is a big guy. You see what Green Bay did, and I think a lot of people will want to try to do what they did, where they're just running clock at the end of the game. Get up in the game, let the big guy come in, let him, win you a game. But we'll see. I'll be interested to see how that plays out, because I think it's very open-ended in there.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's very much like
speculation.
It's very much like the quarterbacks that besides the top guys, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Let's hop into receivers. We've talked a bunch about them. I'm just going to read them off from a list, and we're just going to say all of these guys have the opportunity to be very good. Some more than others. So I'm going to read them in the order I got from CBS, I think. So this is Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, 6 foot, 183. Jamison Williams from Alabama is 6'2", 179. Drake London from USC is 6'4", 219. Treylon Burks from Arkansas is 6'2", 225. Chris Olave from Ohio State is 6 foot, 187. George Pickens from Georgia is 6'3", 195. Jahan Dotson is 5'11", 178. Christian Watson from North Dakota State is 6'4", 208. Sky Moore from Western Michigan, 5'10", 195. Khalil Shakir was a name Noah brought up from Boise State. Highly prolific passing offense is 6', 196. I mean, you can keep going. John Mechie III from Alabama. It's the second Alabama receiver, 5'11", 187.
I feel like the Bills just have to take a wide receiver because of how deep the class is again.
Yep.
Because, I mean, like, you might be able to get somebody like Khalil Shakir who put over up 1,000 yards in 2021 in the slot for Boise State and
Right.
made some ridiculous plays in, like, the 4th round.
Or 5th or 6th.
Or 5th or 6th. Like,
I mean, here's guys who are rated even lower than Shakir. I mean, Calvin Austin III, who's a blazer at 5'8". You know,
David
we
Bell from Purdue, who had 3,000 yards in his college career, nearly 3,000
right,
yards,
and has fantastic hands.
Yeah, he's just slow.
Yes.
All right. Well, can we just give like your top, like the guy you like the best, who you think will be the strongest, asset in the NFL?
I think it's Jameson Williams.
Okay.
I mean, that's who I think. Out of these guys, especially the top guys. Noah likes Drake London, right?
Yeah, I also think Wilson will be good. I think he'll be better than Olev, and I think he has a potential to be good. I think he's the best, one of the best.
I like Burks a lot. I think Burks will be really good. I just like his big frame.
There are so many I like at the position. Like
there are. I mean, again, we go back to Calvin Austin. That's another guy who can fill a position. He can fill a need for the Bills. Just because they've only got McKenzie and Crowder on 1 year deal. Oh no, McKenzie's on a 2 year deal, but Crowder filling the slot on a 1 year deal. So, and they clearly don't believe enough in McKenzie, or they wouldn't have signed Crowder. I think they think of McKenzie as a wide receiver 4, and
I think Crowder takes away your punt return and your issues on punt return, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was probably a bigger reason why they brought him. Not so much for competition for McKenzie, but I would say a sure punt return guy.
Well, I think Crowder is definitely the slot receiver before McKenzie. And I mean, the Bills
really
kept, yes.
Okay.
I mean, the Bills keep bringing in guys to play ahead of McKenzie, right? So
yeah.
I mean, I think they see him as a wide receiver 4 and a good wide receiver 4.
But why give the contracts the way you did the contracts then?
Because they like to have their options. They're like the girl that can't decide at the dance.
They really are.
It's like give that guy the 2 year, and give the guy that's going to start the 1 year.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I guess McKenzie's more, even still, I guess McKenzie's more like, even though he's so far in his career, more raw and not as polished maybe as Crowder is, I'd say.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I guess that's a big aspect too. You got to consider.
Yeah.
And they want their guys, they want the guys that, that can do that stuff, that without a question will be in the place that Josh wants them to be, and if that's the case, I'm fine with it,
Right. Of the lower guys, the guy I like a lot is Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor.
Okay.
I know Noah mentioned Alec Pierce out of Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys are 6'2", 6'3". Thornton is much thinner than Pierce. Pierce is more of a tougher.
Now, what round are you talking for those guys?
5th, 6th.
Okay.
Something like that.
But they're still good players.
They are.
That's the wild thing.
I mean, even Jalen Naylor. I mean, we haven't hit on him, but I mean, he's like the 25th ranked receiver or something.
Yeah.
And Naylor was the number one receiver at Michigan State, who didn't have a terrible passing game like they normally do. They actually could throw the ball last year.
And
And
he
Naylor,
was definitely his top target. What's his
right,
face? So
right. So let's move on to tight ends. Oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna ask, who was the guy that got hurt in Georgia? Or no, one of the guys got hurt real early in the championship game. Who was it?
Williamson, Jameson
Oh, okay.
Williamson.
Jameson
He's
Williams. Yeah.
I was thinking of the Georgia wide receiver Pickens. That's what I was thinking.
Oh no, it was Williams.
Okay,
But
Where's ACL?
yeah.
gotcha.
But what's an ACL injury these days anyway?
I guess we'll find out with Trey, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on to tight ends. Very thin class, but the Bills brought in about 10 of them. So we know that they're very interested in the tight end class. The guys that they brought in, I'm just going to read off a couple names who I know. So these are the guys who I know that they brought in. Trey McBride, who's considered the top tight end by most analysts.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
He's
Physically, he just looks.
All right, he's an animal. Like,
yeah, he should have been in the pictures you sent earlier today of guys that just look great with their shirt off, because he just looks great with their shirt off.
That's what we were doing earlier today, folks. We were sending pictures of guys with no shirts on.
It was Josh. All right.
Josh looks ripped. Yes.
We were staring at Josh Allen in shorts.
Yes. They also brought in Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina.
Big guy.
Likely and McBride are the same size, actually.
Are they?
Yeah. 6'4", 245 and 6'4", 246.
I had what's his name at 6'5".
Oh, okay.
But I get, yeah, you're probably right.
Different sites, different numbers.
I know. Yeah.
So, they brought in Jelani Woods from Virginia, who
6'7". Yeah,
he's 6'7". Yeah, he's a blocker. He's a big guy. He
would be like another offensive lineman almost.
Him and Woods probably about the same.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They brought in Cole Turner from Nevada.
Okay.
He would be a later round pick, and Jalen Weidermeyer from Texas A&M are the ones who I know that they brought in. I don't know if you know any others, but all these guys are tall, big, and can receive.
Type.
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly they're looking for a specific type. They know what they want, and they'll draft one of these guys.
He ran a 5'3". Weidermeyer. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So he's no straight line speed, I guess, basically.
No, he's another one who would be another kind of offensive line, offensive lineman.
Every so often.
Like Rain Man.
Yeah.
End zone sets.
One of the things that we're going right into offensive line, so I might as well just go there. So, when we talk about offensive linemen, there's the guys who are going to go really early, right? So we know that that's Neil, that's Charles Cross, Ikeme Ekwonu, and I think those are really the three we know for a fact are going really early. Tyler Linderbaum is a center who should go in the first round or early second. Bernard Ryman from Central Michigan. He's the one who was the converted tight end. He should go fairly early again, late first, early second. Zion Johnson is a guard, pounding guard. Again, late first, early second. So all those guys sort of sit within the Bills' reach. Linderbaum as a center is truly considered a center, so not that he would be able to switch to guard, or anything like that easily. That was what I was reading from a lot of different places, was that he's really a true center, and that probably isn't on the Bills' radar right now. So I would consider him out of the mix, but I think I could see Ryman or Zion Johnson.
Yeah, I like Zion. I like Green too. But yeah, I like
Yeah,
Zion a lot.
the thing about Ryman is, and Chris Trapasso brought this up, in that Ryman, he would be a 6 offensive lineman in all of those sets. He would take over for Tommy Doyle, in those sets where they had Tommy Doyle, when they were using 6 guys, and because he's so agile and was a tight end in the past, he would really know how to go out there and block in the flat and those kind of things. Where
303 pounds.
yeah, they said, how did you get that big? And he said, I just kept eating.
Oh,
So, well, when we get to linebackers, there's a very interesting prospect as well. But
wasn't Johnson didn't he lead the? Maybe I'm wrong. But the combine, didn't he lead everybody in bench press? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
So he's a strong guy.
Yeah, yeah. Other guys just down the list real quick are Trevor Penning, who's 6'7", Daniel Falele from Minnesota, who's 6'8" and 384 pounds, and a tackle.
Penning, just want to go back to Penning. He's from Northern Iowa and played with Spencer Brown, for people who don't know, and took over.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And Spencer Brown speaks highly of him. Yes.
Yeah. And they're dang near the same size. And
yeah, I'm pretty sure Penning's 6'7", and I think Spencer Brown is 6'7".
Yeah, they're about the same size, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
Penning is 6'7", 325.
And what is Brown?
And Spencer Brown is 6'8", 311.
Oh.
So
a couple later picks. These would be like 3rd, 4th, 5th round, something like that. Would be like Rasheed Walker out of Penn State. Okay. Dylan Parham has gotten a lot of buzz lately, from Memphis. And Nicholas Petit-Ferrer from Ohio State has gotten a lot of buzz, and Zach Tom as well from Wake Forest. Those are guys who would be like more middle round. Late round, I have no idea. So, but that's your list. It's a deep offensive lineman list, where the Bills could, again, it's the kind of list where the Bills could sit and still get somebody, just like the wide receiver list is. And but so we'll actually talk about trading down in a little bit. Edge guys, we have the ones who we've talked about, at least, are Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. We've already talked about them. Hutchinson at 6'7", Thibodeau at 6'4", both around 260. Your next guys are George Karlaftis out of Purdue, and David Ojabo out of Michigan. But Ojabo is a freakish athlete, but he also is coming off a pretty bad injury, if I remember. I think, in my opinion, that the edge rushers is pretty short list of impact guys, at least first year impact guys. I don't know what you guys think, but there's not a lot of names that stand out to me as these guys who you heard about through the college year, or you've heard about from doing something special at the combine or anything like that. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
yeah, I mean, you obviously have Hutchinson and Thibodeau and Walker, and then it's kind of everybody else. I mean, I think you could make a case for, you brought up Karloftis, but I think you could also make a case for somebody like Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State.
Florida State,
He
yeah.
did really well
The kid from
at
Penn
the Senior
State.
Bowl. And he had 23 one stops and 14 sacks last year.
Mhm.
He's 6'5", 254. Somebody who's getting a shocking amount of attention is, and this is not the wide receiver, folks, Drake Jackson out of USC at edge defender. He's 6'3", 245. He improved his passing grade from 66.6 to 87.7 last year, and then ended up finishing the year at 82.3 according to PFF. He's 21. They think he could go in the first round. They say really the only reason he's not up higher is because he had a late season injury. So, injuries obviously really hamper guys and bring down their draft stock. But, I just read a tweet not so long ago that said that Drew Rosenhaus is his agent. He told Rappaport that he's getting reports from team in that 15 to 30 range that are saying we're looking at Jackson and we're thinking about taking him. He said there's a handful of teams there that really are thinking about taking him that early. So he could be somebody who jumps way high and is a surprise first round pick.
Well, that would be great for a Hamilton trade up.
Yeah.
If Hamilton drops to 12, between 12 and 15, when you look at charts for trades, if the Bills want to trade up, and this is multiple different charts being put together, if the Bills want to trade up, it would probably take their first round pick this year, right? 25, and then a second round pick next year if they want to trade up into 12 to 15. Above 12, they would probably have to give up their first round pick. But what I was reading and seeing was between 12 to 15 and later would be second round pick plus another, like a fifth round or something like that. So, that would be something I would definitely consider as a win more than a one. I mean, your first this year and your first next year. But anyway, let's go into inside defensive lineman. That's where I have Trayvon Walker listed as he played inside at Georgia. Him and Davis played next to each other, and they're 1-2. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, and Devontae Wyatt, right? So I guess Walker is an edge guy. Maybe he's just I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this list is weird. Okay. There's other guys. I mean, we got to move on, right? So, defensive line, Jordan Davis, if he falls to the Bills, they should take him. Other guys who are out there, Boye Mafe from Minnesota. It's Georgia with Trayvon Walker, Davis, and Devontae Wyatt. No, is there anyone who pops out? CJ, anybody like that? To me, Fedarian Mathis, because he went to Alabama. I think you should always draft Alabama SEC players.
I think you can make a case for Perrion Winfrey out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, good point.
He's just fast upfield like that.
Yeah, he's a penetrator. He's a lot like Ed Oliver, but taller. Isaiah Thomas, good ball handler. Anyway,
linebackers.
You want to lead this one?
Oh, yeah. I mean the top linebackers, Devin Lloyd out of Utah. he's honestly considered the best. To me, he's the best, probably all around linebacker. Blocks, blitzes, can cover tight ends. The guy's ridiculously fast.
I'll go top 20. Yeah.
No, I'm saying in the linebacker class, he's probably the best one.
Oh yeah, him and
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean, I think,
Yeah.
are 1 and 1A or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Nakobe's Dean straight line speed, as well as his reaction and his like IQ, and be able, like, his speed to be able to just get to the ball. Like, he's one of those players, in my opinion, who's just get ball, see ball. So, he's great. And then another later on guy, probably Leo Chanel out of Wisconsin.
He's a big dude, right?
Yeah, so he, being from Wisconsin, he's gonna thrive more in a man blitz heavy scheme.
Yep.
His comparison is Micah Parsons. So there you go.
That's interesting.
Micah Parson-esque.
Two of the guys.
What?
Because of his run defense, right? I mean, I would assume
Yeah.
he's a good run defender.
Yeah.
Parsons is good
His
at
run
run
defense, and according to them, he packs a punch as a downhill player and can light up an offensive lineman with ease. His 94-point run defense grade wasn't too far behind Micah Parsons' 94.8 PFF college record. And then his comparison is Micah Parsons. So next up, one of the top guys is Quay Walker out of Georgia. Then there's Brian Asamoah out of Oklahoma. He's my favorite.
Asamoah is someone who the Bills brought in.
Yes, he's a little undersized at 6 foot 226.
That's the Bills seem to be looking for that.
He's fast from sideline to sideline and can just lay out guys. So
Chad Muma is another guy that they brought in from Wyoming.
And then way later on, there's guys like you can try with Christian Harris. He's probably
Alabama guy, right?
Yeah, according to PFF, he's probably one of the most physical guys in the draft.
Another Georgia guy in Tyndall.
Yeah, Tyndall. Brandon Smith from Penn State.
Ramon Clark from LSU.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, now you're getting into guys. I think those guys are probably going to go 4th, 5th.
Yep.
Anyway, so
yeah. One guy we skipped was Troy Anderson from Montana State.
Oh yes, yeah.
One of my favorite stories. One of my favorite stories of players in the draft. Played quarterback. He only played linebacker, I think, for his. Oh no, he played linebacker for like 2 seasons, I think. But he's played quarterback and running back and linebacker at Montana State, based upon what the coaches asked him to do. He wanted to play linebacker the whole time, but Montana State was like, "We need a quarterback. Can you play it?" And he was like, "Sure." And then they did the same thing the next year. They were like, "We need a running back. Can you play it?" He was like, "Sure, I'll do whatever that kind of thing." So he's considered wicked athletic and a high motor guy, and a long-term starter.
He's a lot of potential because he didn't have reps, right? Going into the combine or going into the draft. So
high ceiling guys who the Bills always love, right?
Yep.
So just something to think about. Let's get to cornerbacks. Who wants to drive this one? You want to drive it again, Noah?
Okay. Yeah, cornerbacks, we talked a lot about them, obviously, because me and CJ, I think, are in the same boat wanting them to take one. But we'll just run through the top guys: Stingley, Gardner, McDuffie, Booth, Elam. This one guy we didn't really hit on was Jalen Pitre, I don't know, out of Baylor.
He's more of a safety. They think he projects to a safety from what I read.
Okay. Yeah, he had 47 stops. He led all defensive backs with 47 stops on the season while playing slot corner for Baylor. Yeah. So he's 5'11", 198. There's Daxton Hill, who we talked about out of Michigan, safety, cornerback guy. Kyler Gordon out of Washington. Probably
Roger McCreary,
Auburn. Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska who's extremely physical.
He's short though, right?
He's
Taylor
5'11".
Britnell.
He knows how to use his size, and has excellent range. But he could be viewed as a safety for certain teams. So there's that. Then
Okay.
that seems to be the case with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
There's Marcus Jones out of Houston, who was a really good punt kick returner for them. The guy I like on the later round is Tariq Woolen out of UTSA. And now you might be sitting there saying UTSA, but he's 6'4", 205, and he ran a 4.26 40
or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wicked fast.
He's also only been playing cornerback for 2 years and put up like insane numbers.
Yeah,
So,
he's a project from what I read, but he's also another high ceiling guy.
yeah.
He's over 200 pounds at 6'4", and that kind of thing. But yes, they're saying he could go as high as the second round or as low as the fifth again.
Yeah.
And you just don't know with some of these guys. But yeah, he's a guy to look for is Tariq Woolen from the Roadrunners. So yeah, I like your Marcus Jones point. The Jones is the one who's tiny, right?
Yeah, he's 5'8".
Okay.
But he picked off 5 passes and broke up 12 others in 2021. They consider him a playmaking all-around cornerback. And he was an excellent punt kick returner for Houston. So,
okay. Yeah. And I like the Cam Taylor Britt. I take him in a lot of my fake drafts.
yeah, he was an just
yeah. CJ, any specific corners you like? Oh, well, we've talked, I think, kind of endlessly about corners, but any we haven't talked about who?
Any we haven't talked about. Yeah, I mean, you got those top guys who we're hoping fall a little bit, but in the later rounds, second, third, whatever, I think. I like Woolen. Yeah, I like him late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just
really
hitting on
like
what Noah said.
Sitting there,
Yeah, yep. 6'4" is a big guy. I like that. Yeah, and then even if I want either Elam, Booth, or McDuffie. I'll take any one of those 3.
Yeah, I'm not saying the Bills shouldn't draft a corner. I just don't think they should take one in the first round.
Yeah,
that's just.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The way I look at it is success rate by position. So you have a much lower success rate at running back, I think, in the first round compared to other positions. And our track record on cornerbacks in the first round has been pretty good. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, just to go back to my point, though, right? It's how the Bills value guys.
I think it'll just depend on who's sitting there. I mean, we know how Bean drafts, and that's how he drafts. It depends on who's sitting there.
That's not how he drafts. If he has a guy, he goes and gets him.
Yeah, but if he's well, okay, but
right. I mean, he's done that like 3 times out of the 5 years. He's traded up to get guys.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll trade up.
I think they'll trade up to get Kyle Hamilton. If they don't trade up, I can very easily see them taking Daxton Hill, unless Jordan Davis falls. And that's
with the Drake Jackson news, that might mean Davis. That might make it a clear path for Davis to fall, because you might have Jackson get taken in, maybe after Minnesota at 12, and maybe McDuffie goes there to Minnesota. But then if you have one of those teams that needs a defensive lineman as badly as the Bills do, taking, and there's only like 1 or 2 ahead of the Bills. It's like, so I'm not that worried about it. That could make Davis fall. Because I mean, if
Yeah.
you look at the teams who are ahead of the Bills, it's like the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Saints, like those. It's a lot of those same teams that don't need what the Bills need, which could
Right.
make it a clear path for
But
for Drake Jackson to get taken and Jordan Davis to drop, like you're saying.
Cowboys and Steelers are two teams I could see taking him based on best player available
Yeah.
more than, because he seems like the kind of guy who fits with both of them. But yes, I think there is a path for Davis to get to Buffalo. And I've been on the Davis train since I saw him play in week 2 of the college football season or something. So I was on the Treylon Burks train, for a long time. I'm still on the Treylon Burks train. I just don't want him in the first round. And Kyle Hamilton's. I mean, those are my three guys, I guess.
Who are your 3 guys, CJ?
You're talking about for like overall or what?
Yeah,
Just like everyone
for the Bills.
Yeah.
So who would be logical for the Bills? Who are like your guys? Are they the corners that you talked about?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they. Okay, so we spoke about this a little bit, but we didn't I didn't really get into it very much. Okay, so after Trey White, and you're assuming that Trey White comes back fully healthy and he has no lingering issues from the ACL injury, right? Behind Trey White, who's going to start on the other side? Neil?
Dane, as it stands right now.
Who?
Dane Jackson, right?
Dane.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dane and then Neil, right? Would be your third guy. I would assume.
No, I think Neil is kind of I think they're definitely going to give Neil a shot.
Okay.
I mean, but I think Neil is probably going to end up as the backup to Taron Johnson in the slot.
Okay.
I mean, the Bills have definitely said to Neil, and he has said straight out that they said to him, we're going to give you more playing time in the actual backfield. What that actually means, we don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
if they see him as an outside guy or an inside guy or what they see him as. So,
yeah, I mean, I just look at the questions with Trey and the injury, and then them not going for anyone in free agency. To me, leads to them going for somebody heavy in the draft, one of the cornerbacks.
I think here's my thought on that is that they didn't want to jump into someone at free agency and then have someone fall to them in the draft. Mm-hmm. So if someone who they love falls, we just don't know if they love guys, which guys they love, which guys, like let's take Booth, for example. Like, I really don't want them to take Booth because I just hate Clemson players. And I know that's a ridiculous thing. You draft the player, you don't draft the helmet. Mm-hmm. And, but like, I just, but if they, let's just say that they don't like Booth either, and he's there at 25, I don't think you take him just out of need. I think that they would take whoever they have ranked or whoever they have as someone else. And I just don't want that to happen just out of that, because it is a deep cornerback class and they can get a guy in the 3rd round. And,
yeah,
I mean, right now, I mean, to your point, it is a little scary who's in playing cornerback right now. I mean, mm-hmm. Cam Lewis is probably your starter on the other side until Trey gets back, right?
Right.
So,
I mean, that's a recipe for most scoring yards defense on it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you know what I mean? Like,
they just don't put emphasis on their corners, though. They just don't.
I know the safeties and stuff do a lot of work on the back end to cover.
Yeah, and
I
that's where
guess,
that's where I just think Hamilton would be such a great fit.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I think that if we go, I'd be fine with. I mean, obviously Hamilton would be insane if somehow he fell. I don't see that happening. But if we could go, I'll take either one, guard or cornerback in the first two. Give me another lineman later. Give me a middle linebacker at some point because of Edmonds and I obviously want a safety also just for these guys that are
yeah,
coming off of the 1 year contracts. And then I'm not really too interested. I guess give me a late running back also because I just love a late running back story. You know what I mean? Like I love the
yeah,
guys that are drafted in the 6th round and
yeah.
come out and beat out the top round guys.
Don't you want a tight end? Come on.
Eli Mitchell esque. Yeah,
Yeah,
give me
get
that
Blakely
top
in the
guy.
fifth.
Yeah, give me the best tight end in the thing. No, yeah, no, that's tough. Yeah, I'll take a tight end there too. So like that's kind of where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Couple backups for contract reasons. See how they perform. We can get a starter on the line and a starter at cornerback. I'd be happy.
I think that's fair. You know,
And I think that's got to be similar to what they're thinking.
we'll see.
We will.
Tomorrow night,
Yes.
8 p.m.
You guys don't think we should?
Well,
just
not really.
I don't know. I was thinking maybe we should just stream it because so many people like don't have cable and they'll go on like YouTube just to kind of watch it live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like we just kind of talk about it as it comes. And if we each leave and come back or whatever, like obviously we don't got to sit by the computer the whole time. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I just think the amount of traffic will be higher because people will be searching, looking for ways to watch the draft without cable. Because I'm always willing to watch some goofball talk during the game as long as I get to watch the game for free.
It's on ABC though as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
it's because it's
nixing
just
the
the
idea.
first round.
I'm not nixing the idea at all. I would sit here and talk about it the whole time. I mean, that's fine with me. You know, I'm more fun to listen to than Mel Kiper. I know that.
Facts.
So, you know,
now when you look in here, it's wingspan. All right.
Right.
I love
the versatility of this guy is insane.
I love the old school, like the clip of him going back and forth or just kind of ripping
with Irsay.
Yes, I just love that.
Who is this guy?
Yeah,
who even is this guy?
Yeah, right. I love that. And it's such a crapshoot. You know what I mean? They make a living off speculation and
right,
you know, stuff
and
like
being
that.
interesting.
So it's their time.
That's
this is their only time that they shine. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Everybody hates on Stephen A, but I know this has nothing to do with the topic, but I remember Stephen
just talking about basketball. He's fine.
Yeah.
When it's just basketball.
Well, so to that point,
anything else, I can't stand it.
To that point, I remember, and I think we brought this up before, but something that gave me I put a little bit more credit in Stephen A after this, and I remember when McGregor is UFC. I remember when McGregor fought Cowboy Cerrone. McGregor demolished him in the first round through a couple shoulders, and then he was just done. And after it was Rogan, it was Stephen A, and it was another guy, and Stephen A just basically said, I don't think McGregor showed us enough to prove that he is back to where he is. You know, I don't think the opponent was of a high enough level, and I don't think that he proved himself or even showed what he needed. And Rogan and all of them looked at him like an idiot, right? And they were like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about. And obviously, Conor showed a lot there and blah, 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 blah. And then what has Conor done since that point?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. And it's like and honestly, like watching that now and seeing what happened afterwards, Stephen was right on that point. You know what I mean? That clearly the opponent wasn't there and clearly he didn't show enough to prove that he was going to be as good as everybody thought he was going to be coming back. And that's a little bit of credit I'll give to Stephen A. And that's probably like one of the only things I'll say that I can remember of him where he was correct and everybody ripped into him.
He's had a good take on Ben Simmons lately. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
in that kind of thing as well. So
I mean, to your point of basketball, right? He's good at the the basketball
Yeah.
aspect. He's entertaining, but I just thought it was interesting that he went into a different field. Everybody in the field said he was nuts for saying what he said, and then it ended up being he was right on it. And it's like, as much as everybody would hate
Yeah,
that
it's
to be
funny
the
that
case,
you bring that up because I remember when that happened. Yeah, he just elbowed him, or
it
shouldered
was
him
like
at
3
the time.
shoulders in the face, and then I
Yeah.
think he fell. And Rogan's just, I remember when Stephen A said it. He said something like, he didn't show nothing to me. And Rogan's just like, what do you mean? He showed this and he did this and he looked amazing in there and clearly da da da. And all the UFC community ripped Stephen A apart because he wasn't a UFC guy who came in to do commentating, and they felt like he was so off base that they just ripped him apart. You know what I mean? And they just was like, nope, he's never going to be back. We don't ever want to see him talk about UFC again. And he was right. And the analysts that had been covering UFC for 15, 20 years were wrong. And that's crazy to me that he hit that on that. And I'm sure he's sitting there like, that's probably something he can look back on and be like, yeah, I was right about that. You know what I mean? I don't give him much credit for anything else, but that is one thing I will give him credit for.
Fair enough. So one of the things that my mom asked is Trey expected back at the beginning of the season? So the answer is probably not. Most likely not. He's expected out at least 4 weeks.
Did I hear that he was having some sort of new surgery where it was going to be a shorter return to field? Or yeah,
It's experimental though.
That he
So
got.
it's like it could be,
Okay.
but I think
Funny
he
they
was one of
let
the first.
him do that, and they didn't let Eichel get the.
It's a different team.
I
yeah,
know.
a neck versus an ACL too, I think is a lot different.
Yeah.
Also, how hard can how?
No, but I hear the point. That's definitely a valid
I feel like you
point
could
to
fuck
make.
up a neck more than you could fuck up an.
No, that's what I just said, right?
Like,
So it's a neck.
Hey, we only get
just
2.
reconstruct it.
The necks are like, the necks are
2 fucks.
you mess that
Now
up,
we're
you're
screwed.
done. You're done. An ACL, like, and not to mention like it. I don't know. I guess an ACL you could mess up and the guy probably wouldn't play again, but he'd probably be able to live a somewhat decent life. Whereas you go into a neck surgery and I don't want to laugh about it, but you go into a neck surgery, you messed up the neck surgery, the guy's probably not going to be able to walk again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it's a big difference in how they
Much less play
what their
hockey.
livelihood would be.
Paralyzed, having a bionic knee,
or walk with a limp. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but I can't remember. I think they said they took a chunk of his hamstring.
Yes.
And they used it as a part to reattach
fuse.
the ACL. Just so people can understand why I said that they're doing something different, and that's how they're doing it, which has never been done before.
Nasty.
Which was which at first I thought was supposed to bring him back sooner, but I guess like you said, you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to, right? Like there's a chance he could be back. He could be back beginning of the season, but it's like you don't know until you actually see what the rehab did, how he been doing that. I mean, obviously Bean's been like, he's been knocking it out of the park. That's our guy.
Right,
Gold
right.
star for him. Like,
that's great. I love that they're doing that. But my thing is this: is like, okay, so if we have a best case scenario and we have a worst case scenario, and then things could fall in between there, right? But your best case scenario is he's ready for week 1, right? Ready for preseason, even. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he doesn't play ever again like he did before he got hurt, right? And to me, just that big of a thing right there between worst case and best case would push me as a GM, or would push me as a coach to really want to go after that position in the draft to make sure that we don't have that issue. And so that's where my head is on the cornerback thing, and that's why I push it so hard, is because you just don't know. You know what I mean? You just don't know what's going to happen with them. And I'm not confident what the back is or the backups are.
Well, and to go back to, you asked about free agents, right? And I think they're waiting till after the draft to see what happens, because there may be a cornerback who does fall at 25, who they're just like, whoa, he's there, right? And like to the point, it might be if McDuffie falls at 25, holy cow, that's a huge win and that kind of thing. And So they're like, we're going to draft him, we're going to take him, and we're all set. But if nothing works out, if nothing plays out at the cornerback position through the first couple rounds, then I think they then look at the free agents who are out there, because there are still like 8 to 10 free agents at cornerback who are viable guys who can play.
Okay. Can you name me the top 3?
Top 3? Not off the top of my head, no. I can look it up real quick though.
All right. I was really looking for some confidence there, and if you would have gave me 3 guys, I'd have been like, that's great.
We've been talking. We've been talking
for an hour and 45 minutes.
I know, talking about all these different guys.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up soon.
Yeah. Let's figure out who the top free agents left are, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
I do know that the top free agents though are mostly cornerbacks.
Yeah, I was upset.
Nelson is one of the guys.
No, he's gone. He's gone.
No.
He's gone. I wanted him. He's gone. I know he's gone.
So he's gone.
Just because that was a guy I wanted.
He's gone because you said you wanted him.
All right. Houston Texans.
Bryce Callahan.
Who?
Bryce Callahan. Kevin King was one who I'm like, that wouldn't be terrible.
King. Is that Raiders?
He played for the Packers last year.
Okay.
He was with San Diego before that. Joe Hayden is there.
Chris Harris.
He's a little past his prime.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But he's fillable.
Hargraves is still out there.
When guys were putting in
Rasul Douglas is out there.
The fact that Brashard Perryman still had a job last year, and I think a lot of these guys will still have a job.
Verrett.
Yeah, Verrett.
Janoris Jenkins.
Oh, I'd love Verrett, but he just doesn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
AJ Boye.
I've been like Boye.
Travis Carey.
Lost because he didn't play last year.
Josh Norman.
Yeah, no.
Jason McCourty is also out there.
We tried that.
Desmond Trufant.
Yeah.
We could just sign all the players who used to be good that are super old now.
Yeah, right. Like you can go,
but they can fill in. They can fill in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Right.
They can take a step. They can come. They can say, I'm better than Saran Neal.
Okay.
Right.
And that's not hard.
But in my opinion, they need a starter though. They don't need a guy that can yes, they do need depth, right? And that's obviously, but like whoever you're bringing in free agency wise, say they don't grab somebody in the draft, and you're pretty much putting them in at least.
Here's what I think they'll do is I think if they don't grab somebody solid in the draft who's gonna be a CB2, they'll just go to rotations. They'll do what they do with the defensive line. I mean, they feel completely comfortable having 18 defensive linemen and rotating them all game, no matter how good they're playing. I mean, Rousseau would make a fantastic play, and on the next play, Basham would be in there. You know what I mean? So I think you could see that. You could see a cornerback by committee for those first couple weeks. And honestly, if it works, great. Not putting too much pressure on Dane Jackson, taking out Saran Neal when you think maybe, you need a little bit more physicality or another run stopper in there to be up there. You go sign another guy. Yeah. Maybe you end up getting Wolden in the third and can plug him here and there to get him his reps at the NFL level and get his intelligence up, since he's only been playing cornerback for 2 years or whatever, So, if they can do things here that at least can put a Band-Aid over the Trey White issue until he comes back, and you can be like, phew, at least we have a CB1 now, then you could do that. And I trust McDermott to be able to do that.
I didn't think about that aspect of it, and it's a good point. And like you just said, I think that would be something I would trust that they'd be able to do well enough to that our strengths other places on the defense would make up for it.
That's what they've always done, and that's what I guess that's why they don't value the outside guys as much, is because they value the pass rush to make up for less value at the outside cornerback position. They clearly value the slot corner. I mean, they gave Terrence Johnson some nice money and like a nice term, but
well,
you know,
yeah, Terran deserved it though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in my opinion,
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I mean, they didn't think Levi Wallace was worth $4 million. So
right, which I think he was, but that's me.
Right. But I guess that goes back to what I'm trying to say.
No, I know.
Their value on that is
put that in there. Yeah.
Totally not. So
well, I'm fine with Levi Wallace as a 3. I just don't want him as a 2.
Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
But if you could rotate a guy in there with him, say him,
Jackson,
another lower guy. Yeah. One of the free agents you were talking about.
Yeah.
You could put them in with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm on board with
receiver, depending on receiver.
With what, Noah?
Sorry, I said I'm on board with they're waiting to see.
Yeah, I really think that's what they're doing. Like, people are like, oh, we're so screwed at corner.
No, I think so too.
I think even if they don't sign one right after the draft, it might be that they're waiting till June 1st to open something up. It might be that they have a trade in place already. I mean, maybe they have, the Giants guy who's on the block and,
Oh, Bradbury.
Yeah. Maybe they have that trade set, and they just don't.
You make trades right now?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. I thought there was a freeze at some point because I know in hockey they freeze trading right before the draft, like a day or two before.
I don't think there's a freeze.
No, guys will get traded for draft picks on the day of.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I mean, like I said, maybe they have something in place for Bradbury where he's part of a deal with the Giants.
Well, I bet there are numerous deals in place because I was reading something today that there are a bunch
of the top 15.
A lot of the top 15 teams want to move back. And there's somebody outside of the top 15 who's trying super hard to get into the top 10. I don't remember what team it is, but it's a team.
Eagles?
No, because they have it was like, oh my God. It was somebody right around us, I think. I don't remember exactly who it was, but they're trying very hard to get into the top 10. I believe it was at the Jets pick at 8 that they're trying very hard.
I feel like that's the Eagle.
Ravens? I feel like the Eagles too. Raiders? I don't know.
No, Ravens. I was thinking maybe.
No. I get it, but they didn't even make. They didn't make.
Ravens are 14, so
right.
I know for a fact it was somebody outside of the top.
Closer to us, you said, right? So you're talking.
They're trying to get it. They're trying to get a top 9.
Dallas, Arizona,
Chargers?
maybe.
Chargers. I don't know.
I think it might have been Dallas or Arizona.
Okay.
I mean, Tampa doesn't make sense. Tennessee doesn't make sense. The Chiefs don't make sense.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the 3. I think it was Eagles, whatchamacallit, Dallas, and the other
Cardinals.
Team. Yeah. I think it was one of those 3, and they're trying really hard. So I think, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be fun. Or it's going to be extremely boring like it is every year. But
right.
Everybody's going to keep their pick, and they're going to be like one surprise, and I'm going to be tired on Friday.
And the Raiders will make a bad choice. Or no, the Raiders will draft somebody that goes to jail the next year.
The Jets fans will boo.
Right.
Except it's in Vegas.
The 3 keys to the draft, the three locks.
Right. The Raiders pick a criminal.
The Jets boo, and Goodell gets booed.
Yeah.
I love watching him get booed though.
I think it's funny because he never knows how to react.
No,
Like, do you notice that?
you're
Like, when
right.
he gets
Yeah.
booed, he's like, "Yeah, haha."
Yeah. Or
But
kind
it
of look
actually does hurt my
around.
feelings a little bit.
They'll kind of
Like,
look around like, is that everyone? Yep, that's everyone doing that.
I remember when it was. I think it was in Chicago or Nashville, and he like it was so loud, and he just like stood there and was
Yeah, I want
like,
to say that was like 3-4 years ago, and I remember
Yeah.
he had to calm the crowd had to calm down before he could talk.
Yeah.
And I remember it being wild that they went that hard, and I don't remember them doing that before that very much. You know, I'm trying to think. There was something that happened with him one of those years where he was involved in. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but like the next draft, they just all booed the crap out of him. Like, nope.
Was it New England Gate or one of
Deflategate.
I want to
those?
say it was something like that, or he let
Tuck
it.
rule. The Raiders fans.
That's
torn
longer. Yeah,
apart.
no, this was maybe 5 years ago. There was.
Oh, okay.
probably Deflategate.
Yeah, I think it was that.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. So we're gonna do a mock draft.
Okay. What do you mean?
Like right now.
Yep.
How many? What? What type of mock draft?
A quick simulator.
All right.
So here we go. So we're using Pro Football Focus. Can everyone see it? Okay.
No.
You
Oh.
can't?
There we go.
It's coming.
Now we
Okay.
can. All right.
That good? So medium speed. I did closer to the public board than the Pro Football board. The care for positional value, I knocked down a little bit. Draft for needs, I knocked up a little bit. And then randomness, I knocked up a little bit because the draft is way more random than Pro Football Focus thinks it is. So
Why don't you bump
roll.
up the speed a little? The speed. Yep.
Because it goes really fast. Okay.
Well, do we need to know?
Hutchinson, Stingley, Gardner, Walker, Ekwonu.
Hamilton got taken. London.
Yep. And we can't make a trade because it goes so fast. Booth got taken. Kobe Dean.
All right.
So according to their rankings.
Woof.
Do you want to see who got taken now that?
Do you want to redo it? Do you want to turn down the thing then?
Was it too fast for you too?
No, it was fine. I wanted to just get to the pick if we're gonna do all 7. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Been going for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy.
So it did not fall well for the Bills.
That did not fall well at all.
And that's my biggest fear.
Ugh.
Okay, so the options to me are Zion or Daxton Hill.
You're going Zion in that situation.
Yeah, I mean,
Noah?
if this is what's left, I'd much rather them take Zion.
Okay. We have drafted him. Olave Willis. Treylon Burks to Kansas City. Sky Moore.
I hate
Maffe.
that. I hate
I
that.
hate that too. I just said damn to myself.
Yes. Like, no.
6'2" athletic route runner. No thanks.
No.
Brees Hall to the Ravens.
Okay. They don't
Kenneth
know how to
Walker
use
to
him.
They have
Kansas
4 running
City.
backs anyways.
Kenneth Walker to Kansas City too.
Yep.
God. Asamoah. Done. Moving on. I don't care. That's my pick. Asamoah.
McBride's there.
Don't care. Oh, well. Okay, if McBride's there, I want them to take McBride. If not, then I would want them to take Asamoah.
CJ. Asamoah. Muma's there. Who have we taken? Okay, we've taken a guard.
Yeah.
So
read me the top. Read me the top guys.
Brian Asamoah, the linebacker from Oklahoma.
Okay.
Could take Tolbert from wide receiver from South
Jalen
Alabama.
Tolbert from South Alabama is one who's there.
Get the cross. Cross. What is
McBride is there, the tight end.
Cross is a lineman, right?
Cross is a safety.
Okay.
Cam Taylor-Britt is there, but you may be able to get him surrounding.
Yeah. I think Asamoah then.
Marcus Jones.
I'd say it's Asamoah or McBride. I think those are
okay. Let's plan to get our tight end later.
Okay.
Cam Taylor-Britt. Movement to Tampa. Calvin Austin.
Okay. What the hell? McBride
What?
to Kansas City too.
Yep.
Oh my God. They could retool their entire offense.
Tariq Woolen to Atlanta. Alec Pierce, Kirby Joseph, Emerson, Khalil Shakir, Zach Tom, of course. Okay. Should we take the quarterback?
Back up.
Boy. We have a trade offer.
Okay.
Giants. It's not an offer as much as this team will trade with you. If we want to trade down.
Who's there? Let's see who's there.
Brian Cook, the safety from Cincinnati. Kyle Phillips, Alex Wright, Cole Strange. This is not falling well at all.
This is way too early for a lot of these guys.
James Cook?
I feel like I'd rather trade back with the Giants and take him later.
I think he'll be gone.
Boy.
You want to trade back?
Unless we want to do Cook, but all right. Whatever.
So we'll see what this gets us. Even though the Bills will probably carry only 6 guys. And around no.
This trade will not be accepted at all.
Okay. So we're not getting around 3.
Add their 7th.
Well, I got 112, 147 and around 4 from next year.
Okay.
You want their 7th from next year?
Yeah. Sure.
Their 6th from the year after.
Yeah, that's fine. Do that.
Here, 54%. A 5th from 2023. Right. Here, 2024.
Yeah. All right.
Yay,
we traded back
for us.
Woohoo!
22 picks now.
All right. Come on. Fall better.
Okay. Kansas City got a guard.
This is falling better already. Kind of.
Yeah, don't jinx it. Jelani Woods is gone. James Cook was taken by Texans. We're on the clock.
Well, Brian Cook is still there.
Romeo Doubs. Zamir White's there. Rashad White's there.
Would you do the running back now, CJ?
What round are we in?
4. Pick 112.
Oh, yeah, give me White.
Zamir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Cook. Next guy taken.
Oh, look at that.
What?
Are you talking, was it Cook, the running back that went right after him?
No, Cook was taken earlier.
Oh.
We still have 6 picks. What were you saying to?
Kevin Austin from Notre Dame. Also like Clark.
We took
I think I saw Otten. Wouldn't mind him here. Take your chance.
Smith. I was looking for. Was Isaiah Likely taken?
I don't think so.
Well, then he's really far down on the board.
Yeah.
Come on, time for bed. Let's go.
All right. Sorry.
No, let's go. No, I'm not sitting there on your phone.
What do we think? Austin? Or do we want to try one of the tackles or the guards? Right at the top there. Tyson Anderson is one of the best all-around athletes in this year's safety class. Can fill a number of roles. I'm good with it. If that's his analysis, it sounds like a McBean to me.
A poor man's Hamilton.
Yeah. We'll try it.
We took a safety.
There we go. Jordan Poyer's replacement on the board.
Kobe Bryant was taken. Dang it.
Not Kobe Bryant. All right. What do we got?
Oh, we already took a running back. Yeah. A lot of running backs.
Shocker. Who's at the top? Clark?
He's 25. Holy cow.
Yeah, he's old.
There's a lot of old guys.
I like the idea of taking Clark. Getting him.
He's young. Yeah.
5th? Is that what we're in? 7.1 missed tackle rate. Spinal fusion surgery.
He'll be out his entire rookie season.
Sidelined in his rookie season. Okay. Not in the 5th. Yikes.
Do we want to take to school?
Tight end?
Who?
Okay, well, just try to lay down and go to sleep. So they can do what they want to do. Then just tell them to do it up in their room.
Oh, well-rounded athlete who ticks all the physical boxes. Woefully underutilized.
6'5". 250.
And he's only 21 and a half. So
yeah,
that's a Bills pick.
Okay. Round 6. Here we come.
Broncos took Clark.
All right. Yeah, they can afford it.
Oh, it's our time. Should we take a backup quarterback?
I mean, Zap wasn't bad. Did we take a wide receiver? No.
No, we
Okay.
haven't. Are there any?
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson,
Jalen Watson.
Jalen Watson,
Whoa. Yeah.
Hassan Haskins. Oh, we already. How about Thornton?
Matt Ariza.
I'm not.
We don't want
I'll-
to take the punter.
5th round.
I'm good with Thornton. Here. Yeah. That's a big dude.
Isaiah Thomas just got taken.
Ah, there goes Zap. Dang.
Isaiah Likely. Dang it. Werdermeyer. Where were these guys on our list?
Purdy.
You want to take Purdy in the 6th? How about
Lindstrom? No. Jake Ferguson? Where's oh no, Rucker got taken.
yeah.
Look at Ferguson. Why not? We'll
He's
take our tight end.
slow. No write
Okay.
up.
All right.
No.
Sanborn. We haven't taken a linebacker yet.
Yeah, we did with our 2nd pick.
Oh, okay. My bad. Then why were we gonna take Clark?
Luke Tenuta. Have we taken a? Oh yeah, we did take a running back. How about Luke
Taylor.
All
Cade
right.
Mays.
What about Rambo? They brought Rambo in.
They did. I hate this.
How this fell?
Yeah.
This is
I-
how
I
it's gonna
hate-
fall.
I hate everything about this.
This is how it's gonna fall.
Cole Turner isn't the worst idea.
They'll think it is when we get graded.
They because it's super early, but
It is.
it's not though, because it's the 6th round.
Yeah, we just have 3 picks left. Pick somebody.
Cade Mays. Take the tackle. Add depth. They have like no one behind Spencer Brown.
Well, weren't there guys in the? Or was that? Yeah, there's a first page.
Oh, I thought that was the first page. Okay.
No. Oh, we could take Williams.
Could take another guard.
Another corner. Zachary
Oh, yeah.
Thomas.
Yeah, could take him too. I think he's tall. I don't know. He's big.
A burly guard who pass blocked at a high level at West Virginia and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay.
He's played all 5 positions.
Okay.
He's old.
Did he wrestle? Because that would be like the trifecta. And if he's a Christian,
he played lacrosse.
a Christian wrestler who played all 5 positions and is versatile.
Here's
Okay.
where all the running backs go. Jalen Naylor went to Dallas. I don't know if you saw that. Ferguson went. Jalen Watson to those stupid guys.
I'm good with taking Williams here.
Okay.
It's time. Even though he's from Fayetteville, but he's good.
He's making a massive leap from D2. He's got the
Nice.
goods to do so. They'll covet his length and rare fluidity. 6'3", 195.
Yeah. 6'3". 6th round CB.
Yeah, isn't that what they did last year and he got taken
Wild Goose, yeah.
off the practice squad?
All right. Last pick.
Rambo just went.
We got a wide receiver.
Who'd we get?
Thornton.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we'll see if I'm gonna jinx it. That tight end.
Likely got taken.
No, the one from Nevada. What about Sewell?
Cole Turner. I wouldn't mind Sewell, but we did take a linebacker.
We did. A 6'7", 246, 22-year-old tight end.
Sure.
11 games played, 488 snaps, 283 in the slot.
Nope.
62 receptions, 10 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns the year before.
Yeah, I'm good with Turner. Why don't we take Turner? Looks like we lost CJ, so.
Yeah, his kids were going to bed. I don't think he wanted to keep yelling at us.
Okay. I think that's it, right?
Oh, Reza went to Pittsburgh. Brock Purdy went to Smoke Monday, of course, went to New England.
And Mr.
Oh,
Irrelevant.
Goodson. That's who I wanted. Dang it.
Grading your draft.
We're going to get a C-. We got a B+ for our trade.
Hey. A-, Zachary Thomas.
Oh, we got a B. It's not bad
That's not bad.
overall.
Go us. All
What'd
right.
we end up with? So we ended up with Zion Johnson, Asamoah, a trade.
Right. Anderson.
The thing is 10 rookies aren't going to make this roster, and that's the problem. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 aren't even going to make the roster, and that's the problem. Oh, we took 2 tight ends.
Oh, shit. Well, that's fine. Stick one on the practice squad, right?
Yep.
There you go. Solve that problem. Or maybe
Yep.
you keep both and cut somebody else.
Right.
Cut Sweeney.
Cut Sweeney. All right.
All right.
Let's take us home.
All right. Well, if you made it to the end, we sincerely appreciate you for sticking around for these 2 hours with us. This was our live draft coverage, mock draft coverage, I guess, the day before the draft. The draft is tomorrow. The Bills pick 25. Be prepared to stay up. Interact with us on Twitter, at Gameday716. Like, comment, and subscribe. As always,
we might be streaming.
Stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. See you next time.
Stay sunny, Buffalo.